What is going on, everybody? Today we are back, and today it is time for Sunday, Monday game predictions 2022 NFL Week 16, as was promised. We are live from the basement of my grandma's house. That is our special guest today. We are celebrating a Minnesota Vikings victory over the New York Giants. The game just ended about an hour ago. Really good game. But here we are to go through 4 games on the docket. That is the first one. Green Bay Packers are traveling out to Florida to take on the Miami Dolphins this week. The Green Bay Packers are currently 10th in the NFC. They kept all playoff hopes alive with a victory on Monday Night Football against the Los Angeles Rams. Final score 24-22. They are 6-8, and like I said, 10th in the NFC. As far as the Miami Dolphins are concerned, they are 7th in the AFC. They've been dropping a couple games, but they have been close games. They have been still a competitive team. They're 7th in the AFC, like I said, with a record of 8-6. They're coming off of a loss on Saturday night last week to the Buffalo Bills. 32-29 was the final score. 2 teams fighting for the playoffs. This sure ought to be a good game. In fact, I would say this is the best game that we have on Christmas this year.
I mean, granted, the slate we have for the rest of the Sunday games is for sure takes the cake for being the best game at noon. Again, 2 teams in kind of opposite directions right now. Green Bay is on a little bit of a streak right now. Dolphins are kind of skidding, but the 3 losses the Dolphins have had in this little losing streak have been quality losses, which I don't think you really like to hear in the NFL, but I mean, they're still a contender in the AFC. So, obviously they got to take care of business these next 3 weeks to, get into the playoffs, where it seems as the AFC East is now officially locked up by the Buffalo Bills, so their only shot in is a wild card. And give me the Dolphins 2.5.
3.5.
3.5. Give me the Dolphins. I think they're going to come out. Tua's going to make a statement. Tyreek Hill is going to have a great game. The Dolphins are going to get right back on track right by playoff time.
The only thing I'm nervous for in the game, which is on the Packers side, is there was a lot of hype last week following the game about, the Packers are still in it. They're still in it. I know they beat the Rams, but I'm just a little nervous that they're going to take all that energy. There's going to be a lot of talk with the fan base. It's not over for the Packers yet. Well, guess what? The Dolphins are a lot better team than the Rams are. This is definitely going to be a challenge. And for the fans, they better watch out. They better watch what they say, considering how some fans acted after last week's game. I'm going to be going with the Miami Dolphins minus 3.5 in this game. Packers did have a pretty emotional win on Monday, but I don't think it's going to carry over for this one. With all playoff hopes, how do we say this? With playoff hopes possibly on the line for this game for the Dolphins, it is going to be a really important one. Same with the Packers as well, but I do think the Dolphins are just simply the better team on paper and just in play. Not Packers. Dolphins are just simply the better team. I think the Dolphins should be able to come out with this one. I'm taking Dolphins minus 3.5. He's going Dolphins minus 3.5. Is there anything else you have to add?
I just say the key matchup is obviously Christian Watson and Xavier Howard, given best corner, a great up-and-coming receiver. He's playing the way Packers fans thought he would at the beginning of the year. He's gotten over the drop in Minnesota, so it'll be a key matchup if the Packers want to win. It's about getting him involved. They dropped Sammy Watkins recently, so again, they just got to continue what they've been doing with A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones at running back. And I don't really have much else to say. I just think it will be the best game in this 3-game slate on a Sunday.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. This is the only game where both teams are fighting for playoff spots. The other games, neither the Broncos or Rams are. And as far as tomorrow night, only the Bucks are, because the Cardinals are, It's a lot going on over in the desert there. I like the Dolphins. He likes the Dolphins. As Vikings fans, we should probably cheer for the Dolphins. But honestly, it would be kind of fun to see the Packers win just so that the Vikings can extinguish playoff hopes next week. But whatever happens, happens, I guess.
It keeps the energy next week in Lambeau Field, the playoff atmosphere.
True. Could this be our last game of Aaron Rodgers with the Packers? It potentially could be. Yeah, that is going to do it for this one. We are moving on to the next game. It is the late afternoon game on CBS and Nickelodeon. It is the Denver Broncos and the Los Angeles Rams, and that is coming up next. Just say something into your mic. Denver favored by 2.5. Let's get it. 2 teams both eliminated from the playoff hunt. This is not going to be a great game, or maybe it will be a great game because both teams are bad. It could be competitive. It could not be. Who really knows what the cost of this game will be? The Denver Broncos are 15th in the AFC with a record of 4-10. coming off of actually a good game, a victory against the Arizona Cardinals last week. 24-15 was the final score. I thought all hope was lost for the Broncos, but they came out with a decent performance, even though the Cardinals are a really bad team, and we'll talk about them in a little bit as we get to that game. The Los Angeles Rams are 15th in the NFC with a record of 4-10. Like we kind of mentioned earlier, they're coming off of a 24-12 loss in Lambeau last week against the Green Bay Packers on Monday Night Football. Broncos, or nope, the Rams are wearing their nice blue uniforms in this game. I think they're good. And yeah, this is two competitive teams, but not really competitive teams. Both teams have been eliminated from playoff hunt, but neither team owns a first-round pick. Let's see what our boy Matt has to say about this game.
I really love that you brought up that they don't own their first round picks. Obviously, in their big trades with the Rams getting Matthew Stafford, their first round pick that would have been for this year is now belongs to Detroit. And Broncos, when they trade Russell Wilson, that first round pick now belongs to the Seahawks. So the two teams that really care about this game are the Lions and the Seahawks, not for playoff, but a better draft pick for an up and coming teams for both of them. Detroit did not play well today, and Seahawks lost, so that hurts. It really helps the Commanders, but the Commanders are also playing the 49ers. But those are old games. We're here to talk about this one. You talk about it's not being that exciting. It's on Nickelodeon, which adds a little bit of excitement. Obviously, in the beginning of the year when this game was announced, the hope was, hey, this is the big game of the slate.
Christmas slate.
Not even that. Maybe one of the bigger games of the season.
Just of the NFL,
potential Super Bowl. But obviously, that didn't happen. The Russell Wilson experiment has not worked in year one. I think there's a lot of blame to go around. I think most of it should go on Nathaniel Hackett. But Russ is not, free from the excuses. He did not play well. Joel has been on record saying he hasn't been a fan of the trade. Obviously, with Russell Wilson being on his decline, it didn't really make sense to give up what they did to get him. But who knows? Next year, hopefully they're healthy and the Broncos can make that push. They did kind of blow it up just a little bit by trading away Bradley Chubb. They're still building around Pat Surtain the second, and who knows? And same thing with the Rams. I mean, the future doesn't look bright. We've discussed this a little bit, their whole all-in approach, we're going to trade for Matt Stafford. We're going to go sign Odell. We're going to trade for Von Miller. We're going to give up all these pieces to go win that one championship. And they did it. And now they're dealing with that little ripple effect being, all right, not only injuries, but Matt Stafford's not here. Odell's obviously not here anymore. The team's just not playing well, and it's going to be a rough stretch for the Rams. But we both can agree, you wouldn't trade that one Super Bowl away.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a rocky ride. You could potentially be moving on from Aaron Donald if he doesn't retire. Sean McVay might be done as a coach. He's contemplated retirement before. So it could be a potential, rough, couple years, but that one Super Bowl is all worth it. And that's kind of what you have to think going forward when you see the Rams. So Rams fans, I know it's tough right now, but you got that Super Bowl, and that was the plan all along. And I wouldn't trade it for anything because it's hard to get to the mountaintop. And when you can get there, you go all in. And they did, and they got the result that they wanted. For us, this game, though, the Broncos are favored
2.5
by 2.5. But I like the Rams. I want to take the Rams 2.5, and I think the Rams are going to win this game. I think Baker Mayfield, depleted receiving corps for both teams, NFL mantra, next man up. There's no excuse. I think what's left of the receivers for these two teams, the Rams just have a little bit better. They have a better – I think Cam Akers is a better back. I don't know what his future holds. He held out a little bit during the year. He demanded a trade. They didn't trade him. They didn't play, and now he's playing a lot. So his future is questionable. I don't know what's going to happen there, but again, the Rams' future is obviously a question mark on how they want to go. Do they want to try reloading, or do we blow it up? But for this game itself on Nickelodeon, give me the Rams to win. And obviously, if you don't know, Nickelodeon, most valuable players voted on by the fans. And in the last 2 years, it's gone to the losing quarterbacks, Dak Prescott and Mitch Trubisky. So the tradition will continue with Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson winning Nickelodeon most valuable player. And to cap off his memes season, Broncos country, I'm dead inside.
Now, a lot of the issue I had, I wish I would have filmed like live right after the game or after the Russell Wilson trade, but I really didn't. I think a lot of the exception that I had, and I'm going to also put this into Viking terms for Viking fans, a lot of the issue I had isn't actually Russell Wilson, it's the value that came with it. They gave up so much for Russell Wilson, and sure, he has played terrible this year, but either way, they gave up a lot for him. And I think that's a lot of problem that, to put this into Viking terms, the Kirk Cousins haters, or a lot of people hate Kirk Cousins not because he's a bad player. It's just because of the value that's associated with him. They pay him what $34 million a year, and he's not a bad player by any means. But is he truly worth $34 million? And that's what the argument I think a lot of Kirk haters have, and that is the question I have with Russell Wilson too. He's not a bad quarterback per se. He has been a lot worse this year, but it's the value that came with that trade I think is really what hurts the Broncos. I'm going to be going with the Denver Broncos minus 2.5 in this game. I think the Broncos had a decent outing last week. I didn't watch any of the game, but either way, this game is honestly kind of a horse apiece. I'm just going to simply go with the Broncos, just because they're out of the playoffs. They're just going to win games just because. And Nathaniel Hackett kind of has to save his job. Do you know if there's ever been a first-year first-year coach that's been fired in his first season?
Urban Meyer, he was fired midway through his first season.
Well, that's true. That wasn't necessarily just because he was bad. I mean, he was, but there was more that went on behind that too.
Obviously, there's behind the scenes, but the biggest thing in the NFL is results. Get results. You win games, you stay a coach. Obviously, you got to follow the rules and whatnot. And there's a lot of players that are good but did terrible things. So if you're not meeting the results, and there's a lot of expectation for the Broncos, and rightfully so, given who they got, and they're fully healthy. They could have been a playoff team. That's just a big what if, and we'll never know.
I'm going to be going Denver minus 2.5 in this game. I think Hackett needs this game to save his job. Well, maybe not necessarily, but I think he is already in deep waters with his job. He likes the Rams plus 2.5 in this one. That moves us into our next one, Sunday night. It is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It is the Arizona Cardinals. We will be talking about that game coming up right now.
I've been waiting all day for Sunday night. Well, I'm not looking forward to this game as we have Tampa Bay going to Arizona for a game that now matters to Tampa, because if they lose this game, the Panthers reclaim first place of the NFC South, the loser division. I don't know how else you want to put it, but
NFC East of 2020.
This game matters for Tampa Bay. What else can you do? Can you bring us, Joel?
Tampa Bay Bucks, like he said, they're in top of the AFC or NFC South, but in the bottom of the divisional playoff picture. The Bucks are fourth in the NFC with a record of 6-8. They're coming off of a bad loss, 34-23 with the final against the Cincinnati Bengals last week. The Bucks held an early 17-0 lead, but the Bengals came charging right back. Joe Burrow, with the ice in his veins, came right back. Bengals were able to come back and take the victory. Again, like we said, this is a big game for the Bucks. And as for the Cardinals, not quite. Cardinals 14th. Were you going to say something?
No, I was waiting for you to finish.
Oh, I'm sorry to the people. Cardinals are 14th in the NFC with a record of 4-10. They are coming off of a 24-15 loss at Denver. We didn't really talk about that game, but kind of touched on it briefly earlier. Again, like we said, for the Bucks, this is a big game as they're in NFC South contention, but they can't get up past the 4 seed. And also, if they don't win the NFC South, I don't think there's really any chance at all of making the wild card. And as far as the Cardinals are concerned, they are, I would think, eliminated completely from postseason contention. So this is kind of a one-sided affair. Also, the Bucks are currently favored by 7.5. And now I will pass it off to Matt. What does he have to say about this game right here?
Well, obviously, it was not a marquee matchup, just given, Kyler Murray tore his ACL. He's done. It's Colt McCoy quarterbacking.
I'm pretty sure it's their third string, Trace McSorley.
They're going to Trace McSorley now?
I believe it is Trace McSorley time.
It is Trace McSorley at quarterback. It's still not as good as Kyler, but the Buccaneers offense has been, how do you put this? Bad. really,
Bad's a great way to put it.
really bad. Come playoff time, though, anything can happen. It's the NFL in 2022 going into 2023 real soon. Anything can happen. And it's Tom Brady, so you can never count him out. But when you look at this game, the Buccaneers offense has struggled immensely. It's Trace McSorley at quarterback for Arizona. It's not any better. I think Arizona covers because there's not going to be a lot of points put up in this game. It's going to be a defensive slugfest, but I think Tampa Bay was going to win this game by 3, but I think Arizona is capable of covering just because we're not going to see a lot of points. You're going to see Tom Brady probably attempt over 50 passes. He seems to be about that average. I think he leads the league in average passing attempts because it seems to be the air raid offense. Leonard Fournette is getting old. That's not something I would have expected, but
Yes. Again, like I said, Bucks are favored by 7.5. I know it's a bit surprising, but I am going to be going Bucks minus 7.5. Again, I don't think the Bucks are really good at all, but the Cardinals have just been a huge failure this year with Kyler being hurt. Cliff Kingsbury is head coach. He's been bad to say the least. And now Steve Keim, the GM, taking a alleged medical absence, but who really knows what's up? Watching Hard Knocks is interesting because I don't get HBO on TV, so every once in a while I'll watch Hard Knocks. It's a bit of a dicey show. Again, Cardinals, bit of a weird team this year. They've had a lot of things go wrong. Again, like I said, Kyler, Steve Keim, Cliff Kingsbury. I think they just need to clean house. I think the Cardinals need to rebuild, if you ask me, at least in the front office position. I'm going Bucks minus 7.5 in this game. He is taking Arizona plus 7.5. Anything else you have to add before we move on to Monday Night Football?
A little Bleacher Report action. There's talks that Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury don't have a great relationship, and it seems to the point where we could be looking at Cliff Kingsbury being offed. So it's something to watch. To see how the team responds these next 3 games, but. I think Cliff Kingsbury's time as a head coach can be coming to an end real soon.
I absolutely agree with that. I think he should be fired by head coach. He should have already been fired. But if not, at least this offseason, if they roll with Cliff next year, I think Cardinal fan base is going to have a bird. Quite literally. They will have a bird.
You're 0 for 2 on attempts to be chill and cool.
Okay, thank you for that one. Well, that moves us on. Those were the Sunday games. Now we've got Monday Night Football. The Los Angeles Chargers headed out to Indianapolis to take on the lowly Colts. Monday Night Football coming up right now.
And a word from our sponsors. Monday Night Football to cap off a Christmas week slate. We have the Chargers going into Indianapolis. The Colts, there's not much to say. They are coming off of the largest blown lead in NFL history with a 39-36 loss to the Minnesota Vikings. It was great to watch as a Vikings fan, Colts fans, Matt Ryan fans. You've seen that script one or two many times.
Matt Ryan.
As for the Chargers, they're coming off of a game winning field goal from Cameron Dicker, the kicker, to put them at 8-6, 6th in the AFC, and they are wearing white uniforms. As for the Colts, they are coming off of that hilarious loss. 4-9-1. They're going all blue. And for this game, the Chargers are favored by 4. Joel, any other insight you'd like to give?
Absolutely. Again, I was not watching any of the Chargers game at all last week. I was also tired out because Saturday, I was at the Viking game against the Colts. It was an absolutely crazy game to be at. And yeah, I can't believe that the Colts actually blew that. There was no energy in US Bank Stadium at halftime. Plenty of boos, plenty of fans upset at the referees as well. But the Vikings were able to pull through. Kevin O'Connell, he must have had some words. Imagine if they were down by 33 with Mike Zimmer as coach at halftime. A lot of words would be flowing around in that locker room.
I mean, you can even tell it's a locker room vibe too, obviously, with the change. It's really the same team, just with a new coach, and you see this new energy. And, Ed Donatel probably laid it into the defense, because he's such a good defensive coordinator. But enough about our Vikings. We're excited because they just won. Greg Joseph hit the longest field goal in Vikings history, a 61-yarder to beat the Giants. The Vikings are a team of destiny, and it's all going to run out in the first round of the wild card. As for this game, the Colts have nothing to play for. I think with the Bengals winning, knocked them out. I'm not sure about playoff odds, but it's just very unlikely. There's not a lot to play for. I'm not sure what the energy is within that team after the loss. They were completely heartbroken, according to sources. I just don't think they have a lot to fight for. The Chargers have everything to fight for, potentially locking up a playoff spot on Monday. I think that's the motivation Brandon Staley wants to deliver to his guys. So give me the Chargers -4 and give me a Chargers win all the way.
I am also going to roll with that Chargers -4. The Chargers definitely need this game to stay alive going on the road against a bad team. This is a game they just simply have to win against Jeff Saturday, not Matt Ryan. I believe
Nick Foles was named the starter for this game.
This is a game they absolutely need to win on the road against the lowly Colts. I am also going Chargers -4. I'm a little surprised the spread is this low, but whatever. They're just making it easier for me. He likes Chargers -4. I like Chargers -4. I do not have anything left to add.
Speaking of presents, in the spirit of Christmas, in the spirit of giving, Joel and I have decided to swap gifts.
Oh, boy.
Now, you can't put a price on family, is my saying. I said it a week ago. But you can't put a price on family. And I didn't put a price on family when it came to my gift. Merry Christmas, Joel.
Hey, you want me to go first, though? Because mine's not as
And
good
for
as
you,
yours.
my gift, I did not wrap it, by the way.
So do you want me to give you yours first? Because yours has more hype.
Sure.
All right. In honor of the people.
We should open them together.
No.
No.
We all need a moment.
We need to embrace. All right. Just open her up. It is a pretty sad boy gift, but a gift is still a gift. It is a gift card to Subway. Use it. Eat it up.
If I'm going to any Subway, I want to go to the one in Cold Spring with great service. I've never had an issue there. It is amazing.
We got to wait for like 40 minutes in line for our cousin, and that was not a good experience.
She didn't like the sub, but you know what I said? You can't put a price on family.
Yes, the price was time, not the actual money. To be honest, at least for that Subway trip, it was.
You know what? I'm going to cherish this. Thank you, Joel. Thank you so much. Actually, thank you. I love this. I love this.
The prices over the years, the prices in Subway have significantly gone up. So that is very much needed right there.
Given inflation, obviously, this is great. So, and now, Joel, I would like you to open your gift. And remember, you can't put a price on family.
Absolutely. We have heard gifts are in 3 minutes, so that means we need to continue moving along. We are going to be opening the gift from Brother Matt after he just made his absolutely great predictions today on the channel. Any preface?
It's going to be a bobblehead.
Ha ha ha. It is a Minnesota Vikings salute to service helmet. I'll hold it up to the camera.
That is sweet.
That is cool.
Look at that.
It's just another helmet he can add to his collection. He's obviously the biggest Vikings fan I know. It's a great addition to the SKOL Cave, and obviously I can't compete with the Cameron Dantzler signed helmet, but maybe I can sneak into a Vikings game and maybe get Kirk to sign it to really keep it special for you.
He's going to stand up. We are going to give a hug because we are family. We are brothers. We love each other. That is going to do it for the stream today. Thank you guys so much for watching. This video will be re-uploaded tonight. I'll cut it up, re-upload it. That does anything else you have to add to this absolutely epic live streaming video we filmed today.
It's been a year since I said it. It's almost been a year since I said it, so I feel like I can say it again. Kirk Cousins can father my children.
Yes.
SKOL, baby. SKOL.
SKOL. That is going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching, of course. Be sure to leave a like and share with your friends if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace. Have a good night. Peace out. And as always, SKOL Vikings. We'll see you guys next week.
Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas, too, because I won't be filming tomorrow.